Okay, I'm going to talk about an epidemic that's been happening lately. We went to Boston, Mass, see some relatives a couple weeks ago. And on the way home, just for, let's just say shits and giggles, we started counting the number of times we were stuck behind traffic, slow-moving traffic in the passing lane, and a Tesla was at the front of that slow-moving line of cars. And it turned out that it happened a lot. It happened a whole lot. And it's infuriating because, well, first of all, we own a Tesla, and it's just not representing the brand well. It's an extraordinarily fast car. This thing goes like 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. Top speed, I don't know, 155, give or take. And every Tesla is extremely fast. And the problem is they're selling more and more of them, and they sold 500,000 Teslas last quarter, in second quarter of 2023 worldwide. And so the kind of people that are buying them are, you know, it's not enthusiasts, it's not car lovers. A lot of it is like former Prius drivers. And so, you know, people like that, and you're starting to get a lot of people who are not enthusiasts driving Teslas. And here's the problem with that. We're gonna see if this guy does it here. The guy we just passed a minute ago. You get a lot of people driving Teslas who don't really understand what they're doing. And this car has a feature called autopilot. So watch this. He's got autopilot turned on, clearly, as do many or most Tesla drivers. Okay, he's got it set at like 65, 68, maybe 70. Okay? And here's the problem. They turn on the autopilot and they turn off their damn brain. And so they get in the left lane and they stay there, and watch what happens. Faster moving traffic comes up behind them, and then they, you know, okay, this guy had the presence of mind to get out of the way, but why was he in the passing lane to begin with? That's the question. And now he's getting right back in. And let's see what he sets his speed at. It's like maybe 70, maybe 68, give or take. And it just drives you nuts. It drives you up the wall to see a car that's that fast, that has that much power and that much performance, camped out in the passing lane, going 65 or 70. And if for nothing else, because of the reputation. You know, again, a Tesla is an extraordinarily fast car. And it handles well. And people don't even realize that because most people have never driven one. It handles really, really well. It's got very, very tight steering, very responsive. It's got this neat thing that reminds you of engine braking, where when you lift off the throttle, it immediately starts slowing the car down, as if you had downshifted 2 or 3 gears in a manual transmission, and you were using a ton of engine braking to get ready, you know, to set yourself up for a turn, for instance. And so it's a great, great car. It's a hell of a lot of fun to drive. And the problem is you got these idiots who are buying Teslas, especially after the price, after the discounts started happening at the first of this year, at the beginning of 23. And the guy's going 70 miles an hour. And you might say, well, that's above the speed limit. Nobody should be going faster than that anyway. Well, you're not the police. It's not your job to enforce the law, okay? And the problem is when someone is going that slow in the passing lane, when they're not actually passing people, they start to create these like traffic jams behind them, and people start getting really irritable and agitated, and then that's when people start passing on the right, and you get all kinds of unsafe behavior. And it starts with somebody like that turning on their cruise control, or what Tesla calls the autopilot, or what's called the EAP, which is the enhanced autopilot that does lane changes automatically for you, and it navigates you all the way from your on-ramp to the off-ramp that you're going to take when you get off the highway. Or there's this thing called FSD, which is full self-driving, where it'll take you all the way from your garage to the place where you're going, and it navigates you on city streets, and it stops for stop signs and all that stuff. And that's great, but you don't need it. You don't need your car to like navigate you through city streets. You just don't. The autopilot by itself, the basic version of the autopilot's good enough where it keeps you in the lane and it speeds you up and slows you down to keep up with traffic. That's really all you need. But the problem is you got idiots like this guy who get in the passing lane and just turn on the autopilot and turn their damn brains off and cause huge amounts of traffic to build up behind them. Again, he's got his autopilot set at 70, and he's maintained at 70 miles an hour, which is not that fast, to be honest, on an American divided 4-lane highway. It's not that fast at all, and it just bugs the, let's just say it bugs the daylights out of you. And so you kind of wish Tesla would put a feature into the car, and they're adding features all the time. You know, you get software updates, you know, every week or two, automatically, you know, downloaded to the car while you're parked at night. You kind of wish they would put a feature in that would get you out of the damn passing lane if you're not passing somebody. Either to the autopilot or most definitely the EAP, the enhanced autopilot, or the full self-driving system. Because they're not doing it now, and it's just causing a huge amount of issues. You know, in a place that's congested with all the traffic that the Northeast has, especially with all the 18-wheeler traffic here in eastern Pennsylvania, because of all the like the e-commerce distribution that's happening around here. It just pisses everybody off on the road, and it makes them despise Teslas the way that people used to despise Priuses. Because you get a lot of, and I guarantee it's former Prius drivers who turned in their Prius and bought a Tesla. So, and now it's us, and it's at least one other person behind us, going behind this guy. And he's completely oblivious. Going 70 in the passing lane. So, I don't want to belabor the point, but seriously, like seriously, it's just annoying to no end, and it's inexcusable in a Tesla. You know, this guy here in a Corolla or whatever. Okay, fine, they just don't know any better. It's a Corolla driver. What do you expect? But a car like a Tesla that like has the that's as smart as a Tesla, that's smart enough to drive itself, should be smart enough to know to stay the hell out of the damn passing lane when you're not passing somebody. And if for no other reason than like brand reputation, if not safety, you know, preventing people from having to pass you on the right, and preventing traffic from building up behind you and pissing off half a dozen drivers at the same time, and causing them to start doing, you know, taking things into their own hands. Like, get the damn car out of the passing lane. All right, I think it's enough about that. We will talk to you later. I know we're like, you know, it's like an old man shouts at a cloud kind of situation here, because they're not going to do anything about it. But they should, and that's the point. They're such good cars in so many ways, but they're not smart enough to even get the hell out of the passing lane when they're not passing someone. What are you going to do? All right, well, thanks, everyone. We will talk to you later. Have a pleasant evening.